Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, the 31st of July. My name is Alisa Tilsner. I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia, and I go live every Thursday morning for a little bit of a crafty session. Good morning, Jocelyn, who is waiting already. She's in very chilly Melbourne, and I totally understand because I am in chilly South Australia. The sun is shining today, so it might warm up a little bit this afternoon, but I'm not counting on it. So welcome. We are going to be making card today, and Facebook will show you your memories on your personal feed, but it also shows you memories on your business page as well. And a lot of my cards lately that have been popping up in my memories have got the rolled roses on them. So I thought, let's have a play with the rolled roses. And then I was trying to think of what stamp set that I could use to put with it. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to use the Cheers and Sips, which is not floral at all, but let's stick a rose on it somewhere and see how we go with that. But first, I'm just going to swing my camera around. I'm all over the place this morning. I sort of was like, ugh. Okay, but first I just wanted to say that this is the last day for to join up for my Creative Card Makers Club. So these are the 6 cards that are in the PDF for this month. And then this month I'm doing something a little bit different in that I've got a selection of kit available. Good morning, Jane. Good morning, Deb. Well, I'm freezing. I hope this isn't going to be a problem. So I have got a limited number of kits that are going to go with those cards this time. So what I'm going to do is offer it to my membership people first. They can get them. There's going to be 3 options: class kit only, class kit with a bundle, and class kit with a suite. So you'll be able to grab them. And on the 4th, so that goes out to my members on the 2nd, and then on the 4th is when I'll release it to the public. So, but that's for Australia only. So if you're interested in that, that will come available. Oh, watching on the TV, yay, commenting on the phone, that's pretty cool. Okay, so hopefully I'm not going to have any more glitches. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be using the Cheers and Sips. So this is the first time I've used it. I haven't got anything out of it, and I've sort of got to go bit of this and then a bit of that and then a bit of this and then bring it all together. So I'm just trying to work out in my head because I've got to do some drying time because I'm doing some watercoloring. I've got to let a rose dry and all that sort of thing. So I have already done a little bit already. I have white embossed, and I've got my tall glass, my strawberry, my mint, and I've just done a really messy watercoloring. So, but I do have, I don't think you can see it, I have got one more glass here. I've got the short glass. And so I thought I would show you the coloring in that I have done for that. We'll let this dry. I'll go and make the rose, which, mind you, I haven't made for like 10 or 12 years. So cross fingers it still works. Then we'll come back, do all the die cutting, and then we can progress with our card. So hopefully that sounds like a plan. Okay, so I'm using Pretty in Pink, Strawberry and Slush, Old Olive, and then I'm going to bring in some yellow a little bit later on. So this is going to be a little tricky to see, but I've got some Pretty in Pink happening in my lid here, and with a reasonably wet brush, I am just, and I'm going outside the line as well, because when I die cut them, we won't be able to see that line. So I'm just pouncing it all over my card. So nothing fancy with that. Anyone can do this because it's just a messy watercoloring. Let me bring that up to the screen because the light is reflecting on that. So that's what I've got so far. And then coming in with my strawberry slush, and I'm going to pounce it down the bottom and need a little bit more water in my brush. I'm quite dry. There we go. And then just bring that up and merge the two together. Now I want this dark, quite dark down the bottom. So I don't know, what sort of drink is a strawberry? Maybe we're drinking strawberry daiquiris or something. Not that I know, because I'm not into don't drink a lot, so much at all. Okay, so what I did then was I've got a clean, I'll bring that up to the screen. So you can see that my ice cubes on this side are a little bit opaque looking. They're lighter than what I've got going on here. So what I did for that was I cleaned off my brush so that I've just got water, and then I'm just coming in and I'm lifting, I'm just wetting all of those ice cubes again, and then with a clean paper towel, I'm just coming in and just lifting them. Okay, and that sort of will help lighten those areas. So just use the water to remove the ink. So that gives you that look. And then what I actually did, good morning, Marilyn, how are you? Okay, so then what I actually did, because I wanted it just a wee bit darker, is I came in and just went carefully around those areas. And then bring it up, blend it out. And that sort of gives that a little bit of a darker look. So that's how I got them. Okay, radio, I can put them away. Okay, now let's do this rolled rose while that dries. Okay, get myself all cleaned up. I think that's quite pretty. Okay, sun's come out a little bit in Melbourne, I know, but it's still freezing, isn't it? It's dreadful, but I have had success. I don't know whether you can see. This time last year, my fingers were an absolute mess, but I have managed somehow to go through winter so far with only, I had one little chilblain here on my finger, and then I had one on this finger, but I've been really good, and I've been using rubber gloves when I do the dishes so that my hands aren't sitting in boiling hot water. And I've also, I've got a chilblain or something going on there. But as soon as I started feeling them, I whipped out my chilblain ointment and got onto it straight away. Okay, now rolled roses. We would normally back in the day punch out with a circle punch, and then Stampin' Up brought out a die that had scallops around it, and it made quite a scallopy rose, and it was quite large. But if you want the small little roses that you can use on your cards, you need to go for a smaller punch. So I was going to grab out a punch, and then I thought, hang on a moment, let's try one of these around it all dies, which is the wonky circles, and that should give us a really different edge on our rose. So I don't know, but I also need to make it so that it's not going to be massive, because my cups aren't overly massive, and I want it to sit on one on this leaf here on the mint. So I'm going to choose, shall I do that one? Maybe I'll do the next size up. So I'll do this next one up. Now these wonky circles, they're not called wonky circles. They are called, I'll try that one. They are called around it all dies, and these are on the last chance list at the moment, and they are on sale. So, and they are a pain to get back in that little area. So let's cut this out, and I'm using strawberry slush for this. So who remembers the rolled roses? Gosh, I was using them all, doing them all the time back when. All right, put you to the side. Just gonna chuck you back in. Good morning, good morning. So I used to do big ones and small ones and dip them in, dip the edge in glue and put them in glitter, and or fill the center with glue and then put glitter in them, and oh, we were doing all sorts. Okay, so I haven't made these for such a long time, so if it doesn't work, don't blame me. So basically what we're going to do is start off anywhere, and we're just going to cut around and around and around, like into a spiral, trying to keep it fairly even. And of course, how wide you cut it also depends on how tall it's going to be. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, and then we come in until we get a base. Okay, so I've got a base there. It's about as big as my fingertip. Now, what would normally to get started is I would normally grab a skewer or something, but my skewers are square. They're not round. But what we need to do is start in the middle. Start in the middle. This will be the middle. We're starting on the end, and I'm going to use just the tip. So what I'm doing is just using the tip, and I'm just starting that. I am going to, so you can tell it's been a while. It's been a while. And then we do, I can hear an echo. Anyway, and then we start the rolling, and then what I do, and I should have had my green glue here, and then I just roll and roll and roll. I know, Amanda, these were like, I think the last card that came up in my memories was from 14 years ago, and it had the rolled roses, and all of the cards coming up in my memories had all had rolled roses on them, and I'm like, right, that's it. Let's bring rolled roses back in fashion. Everything goes round and round and round, doesn't it? Right, so when we get to about here, it gets a little bit trickier. So we just want to sort of wrap it around, and then we want to flatten that bottom so that that bottom is going to be our little flat bit. Now this is a fairly tight one that I've got going on here. So then I'm trying to get this for you. We want to put glue on the base, and I'll put a little bit of glue in there as well. So I've got glue on this base, and then we pop that on there, and we just hold it steady for a while. Now, okay, so when I let go of this, I hope that it's going to stay together, because otherwise that's like, oh, that's a bit embarrassing. And mine is a really, really tightly rolled rose at the moment. So you can loosen it up a little bit. What you could do is make that base a little bit flatter, like bigger, sorry, in diameter, and then you can, whoops, see, now we're starting that. You've got to hold on to it for a little while, because that that just let go on me. So I might be able to bring it over here, but it is a good fit for my, it's a good fit for my mint. I'm just going to put a block on it and see whether that will hold it while, oh, it seems to be holding okay. Look at that. You just got to hold, you just got to grab hold of it a little bit. Yeah, so then we used to sometimes put, you know, a little smear of glue and dip it in glitter and all sorts of things, or you could fill the inside of it. Sorry, it's a bit hard because of the lighting. You could fill the inside, we would fill the inside of it and sprinkle glitter in there as well. And so all fun. So just depending on what size base you've got, if you go for a bigger, if you leave a bigger base, then you'll get a more open rose as well. So do have a play with them. They are super fun, but I only need one because I thought, oh, we'll just have a go. Quilling tool. I don't have a quilling tool. I'll have to look at that. But they slip in, and then I think the card, there's got a slot in them, don't they? And then because then you can twist them up, I think. I'm not sure. I've never actually seen a quilling tool, so I could be just talking out my rear end. Okay, let's cut these guys out. So we'll cut these ones, and hopefully hopefully they're dry enough to cut out nicely. So who's gonna do a rolled rose on their next card? I think we should need to bring them back in fashion. There we go. So there's one. Actually, it was the new Dove stamp that's coming out. It was actually a Dove card, was the last card that I shared that had the rolled roses on them. So that would be a fun set to do it in. Oh, they do have a slit. Good. I sort of know what I'm talking about then. Okay, and strawberry. Oops, I didn't outline my dies yet. I have to remember where this one comes from. Okay. Oh, and this was on fluid watercolor paper. Sorry, I forgot to mention that I was using watercolor paper. And I'm nearly done. And Amanda, you'll be happy, when I did my embossing this morning, I did actually get the embossing buddy out and use the embossing buddy on my paper. Mainly because I put moisturizer on my hands this morning and I thought, whoop, better not have that transferring. Okay, and last one is our mint leaves. So in this one, you can make all sorts of cocktails. You've got olives, you've got a cherry, you've got the umbrella, you have the mint, you have celery. What else is in there? There's a berry. I think there's some rosemary. There's a swizzle stick. And there's also, if you wanted like a glass look, there's also a die here that will like punch little shapes into it. So it is a fun set. All right. Okay, I've sort of got in my head what I'm going to do. I have seen a couple of different cards actually that use the sentiment in a really different way, and I thought, well, that looks really cool. So being that we like to case things and take ideas, I am going to do that. So there we go. So my rose should fit nicely, just the nice size to go with my mint there. And I thought I might pop, I don't know whether I'll use the strawberry yet or not. So, but I thought that my rose and could go something like that. Now this is definitely because of the height. These are definitely cards that you want to deliver. You don't want to post them unless of course you're posting a parcel and you're bundling it all up, but that is not one. How do I get my white card dirty? All right, you're going to be the back. Okay, so I've just got plain basic white thick card, and what thought I was going to do was just make a fairly simple card, pop these guys on, pop that on, and pop that somewhere along there. So it's just going to be a fairly simple design. I might put my strawberry up there yet, so we'll see. But I thought if I don't have it, then I'll miss it. So now what I have seen, and I've seen it on a couple of cards, so it's not one person in particular, but I'm going to do mine in yellow. I thought about doing it in green. I thought, let's do something a little bit different. This is Darling Duckling. And I've probably got so much yellow on my brush that I'm not going to dip it just yet because I only want it a little bit soft. So I'm just going to, and I always hate putting it down straight onto this is just going to be like a no layer card because I'm used to coming off from the edge, but we're just going to push ourselves out of our comfort zone there for a little while. And this is good because it'll fill up a lot of that white space that we had going on. Now I have come off a little bit. I'll bring this up to the screen a little bit in a minute. So I might actually go straight to the edge with that because it had that scratchy look on it. I think the edge of the card has picked up the ink on the brush, and it is a little bit scratchy. It's not my usual smooth blend that I like, but it's okay. It's okay. So that is what I've got on. Not the greatest application, but being that it's going to be hidden behind most of that, I don't think it is going to matter too much. So what should I do? Any ink splatter on it? I don't think I will. So, and then we've got, so I'll bring in my darling duckling, and I've got cheers. I wonder if that's going to be too big. Should be okay. Actually, I should get a scrap of white paper. Having a thought, as usual. Okay. So, and then we are just going to stamp cheers. So this is very not me, as you know. This is quite out there for what I would normally do. So just going around in a circle, and we're going to have something like that. Perhaps should have stamped off. It's a little bit strong, but anyway, there you go. You learn these things as you go along, don't you? Too late once they're down, though. So, and then you could do just cheers, or you could put to you, to us, it's your day, let's celebrate. Or what you could have done is stamped any of these and then did a sentiment. So what I'm thinking, and I should have had a piece of white. Let me just go for my little scrap pile on the floor. I'm going to grab one, an extra one, and stamp that on there. Good morning, Leanne. Robin said I could multi-layer the ice cubes in clear. How do you mean? I'm lost. I'm lost. Do you mean like stamp them out and stick them up? Is that what you mean? I don't know. I'm lost. My brain's not working very well today. Oh, all right. Just going to quickly fussy cut this. And because I can't cut straight on the bottom, I am going to make it a little bit scallopy to match the I can't cut and color and talk at the same time. Let me finish. I'm very good at talking to myself, but I can't do that. All right, because I can't cut straight, what I've done is just made the bottom a bit scallopy so that it goes in with each of the letters. Okay, emboss multiple times in clear so that they look more like in ice, but they're hollow. So unless, oh, what you could do is get glue and fill them up, and then clear emboss. That should stick. That might stick. Okay, cheers. Big ears. Something like that. I wonder if we put a slit in that. And oh, I have lost. What is it doing? Okay, my chat has disappeared on me. It's booted me out. Hopefully I'm still going, and hopefully I am still live, because it has just, for some reason it's asking me to log in. So I hope I'm still going. I'm going to keep going just in case, but just know that I can't see any comments or anything. So I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to pop a little bit, I'll use my seal. So I'm going to pop a little bit, if I can get it to work, pop a little bit on the back. No, you want to work. Maybe my internet's too cold as well. I don't think it's my internet. All right, so I'm just going to pop that band, and that's going to secure to the back of my, does it go that way or does it go that way? I don't think it matters, does it? I think that's what they do with real strawberries anyway, isn't it? Anyway, whatever. So that's going to secure that little bit at the back there, and then we'll put some dimensionals on, and we'll stick this to our front. And I'm not sure what bling to use either. Oh, yes, I do. I know exactly what bling I can use. All right, so let's get this one stuck down. We'll pop it up a little bit higher so it's not so down, because I've got so much of that white space going on. And I'm going to put adhesive on one side of this and a couple of dimensionals on the other. So everyone's still watching and it still says it's going, so hopefully that's true. All right, so let's pop this over, we'll do it about there. And then I'll do my cheers next. And I'm going to, because I've got so much words going on around here, unless I've actually got to see how it interferes with what I've got, because I didn't plan very well, I'm actually going to stick this over the top of the two glasses, just so that's not interfering with the sentiments in the background. Concentrating. Cheers. Okay, and then finally our rolled rose. So we'll stick this a little bit of adhesive, and I think it's going to come off the end of my glass, so we'll pop a dimensional on there too, if I can get it. So we'll stick you, and I'm probably going to cover all of those. Spent so much time lifting up some of those ice color of the ice blocks, but you know what, it gives you something to see anyway. So okay, and then we do our rolled rose, so we just use more of this liquid glue stuff and we'll plonk that on, and again you'll have to just hold it and let that sit for a while. So we've got that going on. So definitely one that you will be not posting, because there is a lot of height going in there. And then some embellishments. I've got, oops, knocking stuff over. I've got, look at this. I'm good. That's because in those class kits is all of these sparkly gems too. So these are low profile sparkle gems, and they are from the pair. So let's use these up. I might as well just use these three. You know what? I can't use them. I have to use this one. I don't use this very often, but I tell you what, when you've got these ones, I sort of have to. So let's go for a little bit of sparkle around here. And last one, just to, if you want to get off, please. There we go. And I'll stick you up there as well. So there we have it. Very different for me. Very not my usual style of card, but I think it's good to do something different every once in a while. Still nice and colourful. Quite like it. Let me bring it up. So there we have it. Very different, very bright. So good for a celebration or happy birthday or anything you want to cheers to. Going out and trying new drinks maybe. Cheers. So there we have it. there's the height in the card, so you can see, definitely do not put this one in the mail. But they're also really good for topping boxes and or tags or anything like that if you're giving it as a gift as well. So perhaps could have been a little bit smaller and a little bit looser, but you know, just play with that. So the thinner that you cut them, the smaller they'll be in height, and leave perhaps a bigger base so that you can open them up and make them wider as well. So because that one is a very tight one. So there we have it. So I am, because I can't see comments or anything, I am just going to quickly say next month, starting on the 5th of August, I think it is, we have an in colour special, 15% off select items. So if you are yet to get in colours, that will be a great deal for you. And also don't forget, it's the last day to join up for my Creative Card Makers Club, and I'll have those kits available to them first, members first, and then they'll be available to everybody next week. So, but I've only got cut a limited amount of them, so you'll have to jump in quick for that. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully next week when I come back, it won't muck me around, but it's always something, isn't there? So thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again later. Bye.